Okay, it's 5:01. This meeting is now called to order. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we're going to restate the agenda items. We'll have a 5:15 temporary adjournment to conduct our final budget hearing. We'll call that meeting to order and go through that process, which is a separate agenda. Public input on non-agenda items. If you'd like to speak, please do so. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. Consent agenda is items as listed, minutes, tentative budget hearing minutes, and check approvals. We'll then have a swearing-in ceremony, followed by a short intermission for refreshments and to allow our newly promoted and sworn-in folks to get their families and take some photos, do things like that, and then we'll go back to business. Unfinished business, we have update on the status of lands and facilities, new business, procurement items, electrician for the generator transfer switches, a change order for a headquarter restoration. We'll discuss a new procurement policy. And then we will discuss and authorize, if so decided, liquidation of real property at 3043 Estero, which is Station 31. Chief's remarks, Commissioner remarks, and then we will adjourn. Any changes to the agenda as stated?
None.
None? Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Consent agenda. Everybody's had a chance to take a look, review those items.
Yes.
Just waiting for it to settle.
I'm good.
Okay. Sure. All right. Anybody would like to provide public input on any non-agenda items? Going once, going twice. Seeing none. Consent agenda. Do we have a motion to approve as listed?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We are running ahead of schedule, so we have several minutes. Chief, do you have a...
General community. Appreciate everybody for being here tonight and supporting our fellow firefighters and swearing in. We're here on the eve of the one-year anniversary of what is the most significant weather event to impact our community. In August, we were reminded that it is again hurricane season. Fortunately, Hurricane Idalia dealt us only a glancing blow, bringing minor flooding to various parts of the island. I'd like to highlight Battalion Chief Brunson, who's part of our regional USAR team. He deployed with the team up to North Florida and helped those folks who did take the direct hit. It's good to know that we were able to avoid the storm, but also be able to give back to other communities who were here for us a year ago. The district continues its work with FEMA on the replacement of Fire Station 31. Much progress has been made over the last few months, with all parties reaching a consensus that the fire station cannot be rebuilt on its current site. So we're now in the second phase of that project, which is determining the level of financial support that the district is going to receive from FEMA. In that second phase, FEMA has already evaluated the station based on replacing it to current code. We're now working on a mitigation part in making sure that we have all the dollars accounted for in that station before we close that out and start looking at the new site with FEMA. The remaining district facilities are also in various stages of repair and restoration. If you've been by headquarters, you'll see the exterior work has begun there on repairing the damaged wall. And they are stripping the outside of the building and getting the areas around the elevator ready for stuccoing and replacement. The roof is halfway in progress. So the headquarters is moving along. At Station 32, we received 3 new overhead doors on the front. They look very similar to the ones on 3. So we're glad to have that done. And we're also getting all the swing doors on the first floor that were affected by the storm surge have all been replaced and getting them prepped and ready for paint. Station 33 is substantially complete with the exception of replacement overhead doors across the rear of the building and the transfer switch, which is coming later this year. Finally, I'd like to thank Battalion Chief Grow and all the B-Shift folks who answered the call for help on August 23rd. With the grand opening of the town's Little League ball field imminent, the town had reached out to the community and through their different means and asked for help from anybody willing to help. Chief Grow and his entire shift showed up over there and helped get the sod put down and get the Little League field ready to go. So I want to thank all of them for their help on that. Next in the report is administration. You'll see listed that the insurance reimbursements that we've received from Hurricane Ian to date. To date at this point, we have received approximately $2.7 million in reimbursements to help us put the buildings back together. We had posted for a life safety specialist position a few months ago. We mentioned that Ben was leaving to move to the Carolinas. We went through that process. We had a couple candidates that did not vet out, so we are reposting that position currently. And then for operations, I'm going to ask for Chief Armiger. He can come up and ask him to go through his part of the report.
Good evening, Commissioners, community. There's a few things I want to highlight in the report. I won't read it to you verbatim, but I want to start with highlights for June and August. Crews responded to the most recent hurricane incident, and this was an exceptional response, especially for us at the beach, because we were very proactive, even more so compared to Ian. The crews worked really in concert with directives out of the EOC to the fire district, and they were out surveying in real time as the demand came in. FEMA properties that have been recognized, high-risk properties, making contact face-to-face with members of the communities who were in that higher risk category, making sure that they were situated or they had a plan, and if they didn't have a plan and they were going to stay, that we prioritized them as a first look after the event. Crews never left the island during the storm or the district. The district was maintained, staff, engines, everything was up and running for the duration of the event. And again, first thing at sunup, we were out, window surveys, just on it, quick and very efficient, and the guys just did an outstanding job. So the task level work, the workers on the truck just performed exceptionally for the event. And I mention that because, it came in such, so close to the previous event of last year, Hurricane Ian, and it's working with them, you wonder if they will be distracted because of other events. What happened last year, maybe it causes some anxiety or stress, and so I do want to mention, they just killed it. The crews did awesome. No hesitation in response, no hesitation on demand. The things we had to do got done. They got done fast and really, really well. It was just top shelf work. So they all deserve recognition for that. Further in the report, I cite some times. Again, this is worth mentioning. It's in the report purposefully. Times are not something exciting usually to talk about, but we lost the facility at Station 31, and tracking these times over the last year, the biggest impacts we have on controlling response times, people call 911 us getting to them, is our time from the tones that run up to the station out to the truck. So losing Station 31, we have a much narrower window to make the recommendations by NFPA sets to make those times. But our turnout times are how we do it. They're just getting to the truck fast. And we're still able to meet that time. Not with as much latitude as we had in previous years when we had 31 open. So getting 31 back on its feet and getting the doors open there again in the future is paramount. But what we can control, we're controlling, and the hustle is there. So we're still doing it, even being down the station. We had a fire down on the south end of the island in the Bay Beach neighborhood. It was a high rise. It was a small event. The reason it was small was for the reasons I just cited. They were there quick. The truck was there fast. It's 8 stories to that fire floor, and they were up there in no time. Got water on the fire. They were able to do it with a small amount of water. They kept a small incident. And so again, that just deserves, I think, special recognition, because those high-rise things are no joke. You know, it's a lot of work. It's intimidating going to something like that on the radio, and they did a jam-up job. So last thing will be training. I'll get into. In the county, there's been a big push for squads and technical rescue. The beach, we recognized the potential for it is greater than it ever has been. So we had very high participation from a lot of members on the floor in technical rescue training that's been offered over the last several months. There's several members in this room now who have participated in that training. Again, it's, you know, we do a lot of training, we train all the time, but it's exceptional, I think, now to mention, because they did one of the hardest trainings in the hottest month of the year, in August. They're out there working in gear all day for a week, and they were eager to do it. I had a list of people I couldn't get in the class for the spots we had. So the guys wanted to work, and they were out there working, and again, they did a great job. So I want to recognize them for that as well. The last thing, action items that we completed in ops. The biggest one is Blue Card. So the Blue Card, we received an AFG grant for Blue Card, which is incident command training. So we've pretty much squared that out. We're going to get that going here pretty soon. In February will be our first Train the Trainer event. But I want to highlight that because it's incident command training. We're the first of all the districts to adopt Blue Card, and we're gonna lead the front on that. Cape Coral has adopted it recently. They're about a month ahead of us. They got the grant last year. But of the special districts, we're the first to adopt it, and we hope to be on the forefront of that. Really stand out as leaders in incident command and offer that as training to other people in the county who might want to jump on board with us. So it's a very exciting opportunity. With the grant, it comes at no real cost to the district for overtime and training, which is outstanding. And we've had every high participation so far from everybody who's put in to be trainers. So everything else is in the reports and the number stuff. That concludes my version of the report. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Chief. Thank you, Chief. We're on the clock. I'll just abbreviate the last few sections. If you look at the life safety section, you'll see that permits and outside plan review are both up, as would be expected, as everybody's in the process of rebuilding. And over last year, you'll see inspections are down. Obviously, we have less occupancies to do our annuals on, but I expect those inspections will be up in the coming months over last year's, as we are out there doing more of the inspections for the plans that are in the process of being built. The last thing I'd like to do is recognize some anniversaries. I see we have Eric Cook in the back of the room. Eric, can you stand up? Eric's been with the district 22 years. Instrumental member of the department. So myself, I passed the 6-year mark. We have Angela here tonight. She has 3 years. We have firefighter Romeo Carano with 1 year. And Miguel Rodriguez, firefighter Miguel Rodriguez, also passed 1 year. So that'll finish up my report.
Thanks, Chief.
Thank you.
All right. We are going to temporarily adjourn this meeting and call to order our budget hearing at this time. It's 5:15 on the numbers. So at this time, I'll call that meeting to order. And since we're a separate meeting, we get to do the pledge again, which we can never do too many times.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Any changes to the agenda as it's listed, items 1 through 10?
None.
Seeing none, I'll restate the agenda items. We'll give some highlights. The chief will, the proposed budget and millage rate for information. We'll then have the adoption of the final millage rate and resolution. Commissioner Nickel will read that one, correct?
Yes.
And then we'll also do adoption of final budget with that resolution, and Commissioner Fleming will read that for us. Then we'll go into fire chief remarks, commissioner remarks. It's going to be probably more words than anything else, but at this time, we don't have it listed on the agenda, but is there any public input on the proposed agenda at this time? Seeing none. Do we have a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, chief.
All right, thank you. So we've had a couple meetings where we've reviewed the budget in more detail. On the table up there, for anybody in the audience who can't see the screen, is the one-page summary of the upcoming budget. And I am going to, if it'll please commissioners, I'm going to read the highlights. So we're coming into the 23-24 budget year with total revenues of $10,172,252. On top of that, we anticipate carrying forward $18,500,000 for a total revenue and funds brought forward of $28,672,252. On the expenditure side, we're anticipating expenditures. We've budgeted $14,313,275. And we also anticipate reserve balances in the amount of $14,358,977 for balanced budget, presented to you tonight of $28,672,252.
Thank you, sir. Any questions, comments? Chief, have we received any communications to headquarters in regards to the budget?
We have not received any communication from the public.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. Item 6, a resolution to adopt final millage rate. Commissioner Nickel, would you like to make that presentation?
Yes. A resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District adopting a final millage rate for the fiscal year 2023-2024, providing for an effective date. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District has properly noticed and has held its public hearing to set the final millage rate for the 2023-2024 fiscal year on Wednesday, September 27th, 2023 at 5:15 p.m. Now therefore, pursuant to Florida Statute 200.065, the Board of Commissioners of the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District hereby adopts and sets the final operating millage rate of 2.9851 mils, or 2.9851 per $1,000 of net taxable assessed value for the fiscal year 2023-2024. The above stated final millage rate of 2.9851 mils exceeds the rollback rate of 2.5763 mils by 15.87%. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Any public input on the millage rate for 23-24? Seeing none, discussion amongst the board? Anything?
None.
None? All right, this will be a roll call vote. Commissioner Wood?
Yes.
Commissioner Nickel?
Yes.
Commissioner Fleming?
Yes.
Myself also votes yes. Commissioner Lezak is absent. All in favor? We've already done that, so we're good to go.
We're good.
Force of habit, sorry.
Yes.
All right. Adoption of final budget, resolution 2023-06. Commissioner Fleming.
A resolution of the Board of Commissioners of the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District adopting a final budget for fiscal year 2023-2024, setting a final public hearing date, providing for an effective date. Whereas the Board of Commissioners of the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District has noticed and held its public hearings to set the final budget for the 2023-2024 fiscal year on Wednesday, September 27th, 2023 at 5:15 p.m. Now therefore pursuant to Florida statute 200.065, the Board of Commissioners of the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District hereby adopts and sets the final budget, setting forth the appropriations and revenue estimate for the fiscal year 2023-2024 in the amount of $28,672,252. This resolution shall take effect immediately upon its adoption.
Thank you, sir. We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I second.
Okay, public input on the final budget for 23-24. Exciting crowd. Nobody. Okay. Discussion amongst the board. Anything, questions?
No.
We've done this a few times. Again, will be a roll call vote. Commissioner Fleming,
Yes.
Commissioner Wood,
Yes.
Commissioner Nickel.
Yes.
I also vote yes. Commissioner Lezak is absent. Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, gentlemen, and thanks to the staff for an outstanding job in putting those numbers together for us.
Chief, you took my words. Just thank you to everybody who helped put the budget together and get us to where we are. That's all I have.
Commissioner remarks?
None.
None?
None.
Just a big thank you. Thank you very much. All right, that concludes our budget hearing portion of our separate meeting within the meeting. So we'll consider this an adjournment from that. Thank you very much. And now we will call to order our paused regular meeting. A little bit of a discombobulation here, so give us 2 seconds. All right. Our next item on the agenda, we've already done the fire chief's report. We skipped over probably the most exciting thing about tonight, which we always love seeing as a board, and that's swearing in our new members and some promotions, and we'll start with Chief Worth.
Commissioner, thank you. We'll go ahead and get mine out of the way, and then I'll take over on all the other ones. All right.
Sneak one.
All right. Raise your right hand and repeat after me, sir. I state your name.
I, Scott Worth,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution and statutes of the state of Florida
to uphold the Constitution and statutes of the state of Florida
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations
of the Fort Myers Beach Fire District,
of the Fort Myers Beach Fire District,
to preserve and protect the lives and property
preserve and protect the lives and property
of the citizens of Fort Myers Beach,
of the citizens of Fort Myers Beach,
and to do my utmost to carry out
and to do my utmost to carry out
my duties and responsibilities as fire chief
my duties and responsibilities as fire chief
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Congratulations. Chief Worth's wife will be pinning on his back. Not a random stranger from the crowd.
Chief, congratulations.
Congratulations.
All right. Thank you for getting that kicked off. So tonight I'm going to start, we have 4 other people that we're going to be swearing in tonight. One is a promotion to driver engineer, and then the other 3 are folks who have completed their probation and they're coming to a permanent status with the organization. So if I can start with the firefighters, a little bit about orientation. Orientation is a time for us to see what folks are made of, to find out if they have the mettle to make it 20 or 30 years serving our community. Typically, new firefighters spend their first year gradually learning new skills and practicing to become proficient in all aspects of saving lives and property. As we all know, this last year has been anything but typical. So if I can I have Sophie, Jesse, Brandon, guys come on up? While they're coming up, I'd like to start by recognizing the three of them who will never be able to claim that they had a typical first-year orientation. So we have Sophie, Jesse, and Brandon. For those of you in the crowd that don't know them, you're being introduced to them tonight. Guys, thanks for being up here. They started with the beach on December 6, 2021. 9 months into their career, we boarded up and headed to shelter. And they went through what for us was arguably the worst natural disaster our community has ever seen. Throughout their probationary period, Sophie, Jesse, and Brandon showed that they had the passion and commitment to serve our community. The dedication was on full display throughout the days and weeks following Hurricane Ian. During this time, we put their skills and abilities to the test. Maybe not fighting a bunch of structure fires, we did have some, but more so their humanities skills, where they were out helping our citizens with water, tarps, supplies, and really whatever we could do to help people recover in the days and weeks after the storm. These three were out making a difference in whatever ways they could. I want each of you to know that I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your performance over the last year and for the dedication you've shown to serving our community in a caring and compassionate way. The tradition of pinning the badge is a way to honor and recognize a firefighter's dedication to their job, as well as their commitment to keeping our community safe during dangerous times. It also signifies the introduction of members to their new duties, and in the case of new firefighters, recognizing their successful progression from at-will recruits to permanent members of the Fort Myers Beach Fire Service family. So at this time, one at a time, I'll bring you guys up, and we will do your oath, and then do your pinning, okay? So I went by employee numbers. Sophie, you'll come up. Okay. We'll come over here so everybody can do pictures. Sophie, girl. Right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Sophie DeClaire,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution and the statutes of the state of Florida
to uphold the Constitution and statutes of the state of Florida
and the rules and regulations of Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District,
and the rules and regulations of the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District,
preserve and protect the lives and property
to preserve and protect the lives and property
of the citizens of Fort Myers Beach,
of the citizens of Fort Myers Beach,
and to do my utmost to carry out my duties
and to do my utmost to carry out my duties
and responsibilities as a firefighter
and responsibilities of a firefighter
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability, so help me God.
Jesse, join me up here. Jesse, I state your name.
I, Justin Levin,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution and statutes of the state of Florida,
to uphold the
Constitution
Constitution
and statutes
and statutes
of the state of Florida, and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations
of the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District,
of the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District,
to preserve and protect the lives
preserve and protect properties
and property
and property
of the citizens of Fort Myers Beach,
of the citizens of Fort Myers Beach,
do my utmost
and do my utmost
to carry out my duties and responsibilities
to carry out my duties and responsibilities
as a firefighter
as a firefighter
to the best of my ability, so help me.
to the best of my abilities. So help me God.
Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Brendan Guzzo,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution
to uphold the Constitution
and statutes of the state of Florida
and statutes of the state of Florida
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations
of Fort Myers Beach Fire
Fire
Control District.
Fire
To preserve and protect the lives
to preserve and protect the lives
and property of the citizens
and property of the citizens of Fort Myers Beach.
and do the utmost to carry out my duties
Do the utmost to carry out my duties
and responsibilities as firefighter
and responsibilities as a firefighter
to the best of my abilities.
to the best of my ability, so help me God. Congratulations.
Thank you. Where's Joel? So regarding the position of driver engineer, excuse me. A firefighter spends a tremendous amount of time learning the job of driver engineer. The driver engineer role includes two distinct duties. First is the safe operation of the vehicle to and from the emergency scene. The second part of that is of a hydraulic engineer. The engineer must be capable of calculating the amount of pressure needed to give the firefighters enough water to extinguish the fire, but not so much that they can't control the hose line. The complexity is compounded when the fire stream's being used several floors up in the air or being delivered through a complicated piping system such as a ladder truck or a standpipe system in a building. Once on scene, the driver engineer is in charge of conducting most of the outside operations while assuring scene safety for everybody. They're responsible for operating the fire engine and ensuring the firefighters inside have the proper fire streams needed to extinguish the fire. The driver engineer then ensures all their equipment used at the scene is clean, returned to service, and ready for the next call. Joel Martinez is here tonight with us, joined the Fort Myers Beach Fire District in January of 2017. Over the next 3 years, he educated himself on the job of driver engineer. He then practiced and perfected his skills before testing to be an acting driver. Successful in that endeavor, Joel began filling in periodically where there were temporary vacancies. In 2022, Joel successfully tested for driver engineer and was promoted on February 21st, 2023. Joel, I want you to know we're fortunate to have you on our team. You're a smart guy with a ton of talent, and I fully expect you'll continue to promote, be a leader of the organization, and a mentor for those who come after you. I'm truly proud of you for all you've accomplished so far in your career. So now let's get you started. Right hand. I state your name.
I, Tom Martinez,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
to uphold the Constitution
to uphold the Constitution
and statutes of the state of Florida
and the statutes of the state of Florida
and the rules and regulations
and the rules and regulations
of the Fort Myers Beach Fire Control
of
District,
Fort Myers Beach Fire Control District,
to preserve and protect the lives
to preserve and protect the lives
and property of the citizens of Fort Myers Beach,
and property of the citizens of Fort Myers Beach,
and to do my utmost
and do my utmost
to carry out my duties and responsibilities
to carry out my duties and responsibilities
as a driver engineer
as driver engineer
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
So help me. finally, Commissioners, I think it's important we recognize everybody who's here tonight for Joel, Sophie, Brandon, and Jesse. That these guys and gals have been successful in reaching their goals is likely the result of the support and understanding that they've had from their family and the loved ones around them throughout their journey. So for that, I thank everybody who was here and supporting each of you. Commissioners, that ends our ceremony. If we can take a few minutes and have some refreshments and everybody can mingle.
We'll adjourn for 10?
10, 15.
10?
Thank you.
We'll do 10 if we need a little